Hey guys, welcome back. So I want to say thank you for everybody who commented on the last video. I want to say welcome to all my new subscribers and welcome back to my old ones. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I hope you're having a good day or good night. So today is July 4th, 2021. And for most people, today is Happy Independence Day. If you're in the States, it could be just a regular day if you're not in the States. For me, today I'm 2 years sober. So I thought today I would take the time to maybe explain a little bit. So 2 years ago in April, let me back up. 16 years ago, actually 18 years ago, in 2004, I was in a car accident. It was bad, but not real bad. I had a lot of pain. It was a workers' comp thing, and I was rear-ended, and I was hurt. They sent me to a workers' comp doctor, so I went. And in that process, the doctor said, we want to make sure that you get the best that you can with your lawsuit, blah, 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 blah. So they kept feeding me pain pills, and I was in pain at the time, so I was taking them. So time passed, and that workers' comp case lasted a couple of years. And so every week, like clockwork, sometimes every other week, I would walk out with bottles of painkillers and muscle relaxers. And if I walked in and said it hurt a little bit more, then they gave me something a little bit stronger, but always walked out with bottles of painkillers in which I was taking. So over time, and like I said, that was 18 years ago, it lasted I'm gonna say 2.5, 3 years. When that ended, by that point, I don't remember, but I'm sure my body was already addicted to the painkillers. I started going to my regular doctor, and I started getting my prescription from him, and then I woke up one day and it had been 16 years. Like, I want to say literally that's what happened. Nobody knew. This was something that went on, but the last couple of years it had gotten bad. And really bad. And so I finally told my husband about, I'm going to say maybe a year or so before, 6 months, not even a year, 6 months, 8 months, something like that. I had told my husband about it, and he didn't know. Told him about that I had a problem and that I was going to try to cut down, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to guess probably the same story that a lot of people have. So anyway, I started seeing my doctor, and I started going in and saying, hey, what are we going to do if this happens and that happens? And at that time, they were starting to cut people off because I don't even remember. The world just realized it was a huge issue, and so they were limiting, and they just made a lot of rules, and that meant let's cut people down. So at this point, I was not taking my own prescription. I was taking my entire prescription and then some. So anyway, moving along, I had done some research, and then I had found that they had specialists for this, and I was like, whoa, that's kind of cool. So I got into contact. Let me back up. So I got into contact with, let me back up. So one night I was sitting at home and watching the news, and a doctor from Fresno, California, came on TV, and he was talking about this thing called the California Bridge Program, and it was like he was talking directly to me. And so he talked about the program. He said what I heard him say was, if you need help, if this is you, that you've been on pain medication and you don't know how to get out of it, this is the program for you. That's what I heard him say. Now, what he actually said was, he explained the program. He said, this is what we do. There's ways to get people off of it. People are realizing that they were on pain medication, and now, like, basically he said the whole story. People are on the medicine. The federal government is cracking down, and because they're being overprescribed and overused, and there's too many overdoses, blah, 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 blah. And so in that time frame, we were cutting down. I was having an issue with it, and this doctor comes up and he's just like, here's your opportunity. So that was, I don't know, 10 o'clock news. And I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning, couldn't get it off my mind. It was like God woke me up. I researched, I found his email, and I emailed that doctor. I did not expect him to respond. I mean, that's just not common. And later that day, he responded. And he asked for my phone number, and I gave it to him, and I called. Or he called me. And we had a conversation on the phone, and he was like, you know, what is your situation? And I explained it to him. I also told him, and I remember this so clear, I was like, I'm an accountant. This can't happen to me. Like, I have a full-time job. I am, like, I'm as if I was better than somebody else. No. I'm not, and I wasn't, and I thought that because of the career that I chose, that made me better. That was that addictive behavior mindset. So anyway, they got me in contact with what they call a navigator, and they got me in contact with a doctor who was a specialist, an addiction specialist. And I was supposed to call him back, and I didn't. I chickened out. I was like, you know, give me a couple more months. Let me see if I can do this on my own in a couple months. Got it. You know, that was April of 2019. So, May and June went past, and July 1st, I contacted that doctor, and I was like, it was actually the navigator, and I'm like, okay, that's it, I'm done. Like, I've only got this much medication left. I have zero resources to get more medication. I mean, addictive mindset, right? So, she got me on the phone, kept me on the phone, did what she was supposed to do, and she turned around, and she made me an appointment. She says, what time do you get off work? I said 5 o'clock. She says, you know what? Let me give you a call right back. And so she did. I walked in at home at 5 minutes after 5. She called. She says, how long can it take you to get here? It was a 45-minute drive. I walked into my house. I looked at my husband and said, I'm going to a doctor's appointment. And I told him what it was, that he was an addiction specialist, blah, 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 right? So I went in and saw him. I did not walk out of there until 10 p.m. They did intake. They did all these things. If anybody wants to know anything more about that, I will go into more detail on a different video about that if anybody wants to know. But so basically what we chose was for me to take a medication to help me with the withdrawal. Now, I had to go off the medication I was on. I had to be off of it for, initially, the minimum requirement was 8 hours. I went 36 because I was scared. I have anxiety over medication, which is not really an excuse, but I have anxiety taking new medication. So anyway, what happened, moving along, so what we did was, he gave me the new medication. He says, we'll find a sweet spot, we'll get you to that, and then we'll taper you off of it. Okay, perfect. So they put me on a medication. or they planned to put me on a medication. So that was perfect. So we got everything taken care of that night, and the plan was July 3rd, before I went to bed, that night was the last medication I would take. And so my plan was go to bed, sleep for 8 hours, wake up, take the new one, whoo, piece of cake. So, I was used to waking up early, which I still do, but wake up early, take my medicine before I do anything. First thing I do, like, I didn't go to the restroom, nothing. I took medication and then my day started. Like, I could not function without taking this medication, which is why they needed me to go on this other medication, because it would have been very, 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 I could have killed myself, and obviously we don't want that. So anyway, I woke up on July 4th that morning. I didn't feel that bad. It was weird. I didn't feel bad. So I'm like, okay. I got up. As the day progressed, I felt like I had the heebie-jeebies, I think that's what they call them. Like ants crawling all over me. Withdrawals. It was basically withdrawals. So, slept off and on, made sure I was hydrated, basically went through with withdrawal symptoms. Would go through good and bad parts throughout the day. Like, one point, like, I get a spurt of energy, feel great. I was worshiping. I have a friend who, I was praying. A friend of mine's, I was praying, and a friend of mine, her videos had came up, her teaching videos had come up. And, sorry, you see my dog right there in the corner. So anyway, so I started watching them, and Suzanne, if you hear this, thank you. You know who you are. And so all day long, I did nothing, but I had her in my ears with her videos. I was listening to her preach. I would go from that to some worship music, all day long. And then, and that was on July 4th. And slept through the night. Well, no, July 5th. I'm sorry, let me back up. I'm getting ahead of myself. On that evening, my doctor kept calling and checking on me. That evening, whenever I spoke to my doctor on the phone, he had said, okay, well, it doesn't sound like you're quite ready. We want you ready. Okay. He says, take some Benadryl and maybe some Tylenol if you're in any pain, which I wasn't in pain. Mind you, I was taking 10 milligram Norco a day. 10 to 12 a day. Yeah, 10 to 12 a day. No pain. Not nothing that Tylenol couldn't take care of. So anyway, I had taken the Benadryl, and I went ahead and took Tylenol. I did have a little bit of a headache, and I went to bed. And I woke up the next morning, got up, did not feel good at all. Like, at all. I got up early. As the day, when I say early, 4 a.m., so 5, 6, 7, I kept telling my husband, maybe this isn't the right thing. Maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe I should just go take a pill. He's like, maybe you should call your doctor. I'm like, no, it's too early. He said, at least wait till 8 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, I'm praying. I'm like, okay, I have got to just calm down, take a deep breath, and you'll be good. Okay, so I did. So I told myself, wait until 8:30. So I called and he didn't answer. Oh, I freaked out. My anxiety went through the wall. I flipped out. I'm like, oh no. So then I called back and he answered. And at that point, I was in tears. I was crying. I don't know why I was crying, but I was crying. And he's like, you sound like you're ready. Okay. So, he says, the medication I gave you, he told me he had given me 2. He says, told me which one. He says, go in and take it. Call me back in 30 minutes. Okay. I was shaking. Like, I didn't feel this bad the day before, but I was like, my husband had to hand me the medication because I was just like, I'm shaking. So, I took the medication, waited about half an hour, I started feeling better. I'm like, okay. Took the nausea away, took the headache away, took, like, the tremor started going away. I kind of started feeling normal. I'm like, oh, okay, perfect. So, that didn't last long. And he says, well, call me back in a little bit, 2 hours, see how you feel. Okay, great. So I did. And the medication, all it did was, or was supposed to do, was take away the symptoms, take away, like, help me through it, not fix me. So, what they do is they get you to a point where they help you, and then get the withdrawal symptom gone. I don't know how you would say that. They get you to a point where you don't have the withdrawal symptom. So then that way you can start working on you. And then they start tapering you off of that. So anyway, I called him back. He told me to take a little bit more, so I did. And then as the day progressed, I still had symptoms, but not very manageable, which is what we wanted. We just didn't want me to die. Like, that was the ultimate goal, is let's keep Tina alive while she detoxes at home. And so that's what we did. So anyway, the medication, that lasted a few days, and I beyond that, I just kind of dealt with it. So up to that point, everything's been good. Like, everything was good to that point. Now moving forward from, that was July 3rd, 4th, 5th. So I started feeling a little bit better 5th, 6th, 7th. So I went, I had taken time off of work to do all this, basically the holiday weekend. And so now I'm seeing this doctor weekly, and we have to work on me now. Like none of this is going to do any good if I don't fix me to where, we need tools. We need, if you're already having withdrawals, we went through a few months of trying to regulate the medication and taper. So, let's get the medication regulated, and then let's start to taper the medication. Because although I went from one medication, I didn't go to another one, but I did. So if that makes any sense. So that doesn't make any sense at all. I went off of a drug and onto something that helps with the withdrawal symptoms, but doesn't do the same thing. So I have to fix myself in order to make this succeed. So we have to deal with the withdrawal symptoms because they were so bad that took about 2.5 months. And of me seeing him weekly and assessing it. And so once we got that regulated, so then he's like, we need to add in some meetings, and let's get you on track, and let's get your head in the right place, get you where you need to be, so then that way we can start tapering you off this medication. Okay. So anyway, so here we are 2 years later, and I'm on a very small dose of the medication still, and it is what it is. I mean, it's a daily struggle. When things happen, I get upset. I used to go to pills, and I don't do that now. So, it's helping me. We're tapering. Like I said, it's a small dose. We're tapering off. I was, we've come really far. But today, 2 years, I'm sober. And that is a blessing. That is God. That's God doing his thing. That is God saying, I was killing myself and didn't even realize it. So I still deal with this on a daily basis. Daily basis. Mental, physical, you name it. So as we move forward with my channel, I do want to say that this is going to be something that's going to come up. It's going to come up a lot. Addiction. I have an addictive behavior. I had an opioid addiction. I'm a recovering opioid addict. Obviously a food addict if I had to have gastric bypass. I have an addictive behavior, so I'm very habitual. I say that all the time to my husband. I'm very, very, very habitual. So anyway, I just want to tell my story. If anybody needs anything, if you are going through addiction, if you were where I was, reach out to me, reach out to somebody, a doctor, somebody. They can help you. There's ways, there are ways for people to go off of this medication without having too much, without dying. There are ways. So anyway, moving forward, I'm still paying off some of the debt from that, and I will be doing, I'm budgeting, so I will be talking about that as well. I'm still building relationships from that time, and I will be talking about that a little bit too. Of course, not too much because I'm no names or nothing like that, but I'm still rebuilding relationships, and so I just want to put it out there, and I just want to say happy anniversary to me. Thank you to God, and yeah, that's it. I just want to share my story. Do you have a story? Are you dealing with any kind of addiction? Leave them in the comments below. I'd love to chit chat with you. Are you where I'm at? Have you been where I'm at? I have questions still. I have questions moving forward. I'd love to talk. I'd love to talk. So anyhow, I haven't quite set a posting schedule yet. I do think it's going to be Tuesdays and Fridays, and then I'm going to try to shoot for 3 a week. I'm just not 100% sure yet, so 2 for right now for sure. Today's Sunday. Tuesday, I haven't decided what video will be out Tuesday yet. I'm still working on that. So anyway, thank you for coming along. Thank you for being a part of this journey with me. And I guess that's it. So I hope you all have a great evening. And again, thank you to all the subscribers. Please like, share, and subscribe. That helps me, and that helps me get my story out to others. And I hope you all have a great evening. Bye.